Hi everyone, Elliot Jacobson here for Advanced Advantage Play, and I am going to do yet another video on Baccarat card counting today. Let me just say really clearly, Baccarat card counting does not work. If you are keeping track of cards, then that is a pointless and futile way to get an edge at Baccarat. Not the side bets for Baccarat, that's great, but the game of Baccarat itself, tracking individual cards, completely worthless as a system to beat the house. Now, I just want to tell you where this comes from. I got an email, and I'm not going to go through this email. I'm going to invite you to blow up the screen and read through this yourself. But if you read this email, then you will understand that this person is essentially dividing the cards into four groups. The ace, two, three as favoring one side, the eights and nines as favoring the other, some 6-7 group, a 4-5 group, and a 0 group. And they're sort of keeping track on the card, the scorecard that's handed out, of how many of each of these cards have been played, and using that to assess whether they think they have an edge at some point in the game. So what I want to say is no, you do not have an edge at any point in the game ever doing this. But let me be a little bit more specific. I'm going to get a little bit down and dirty first here, just for the thrill of it. There is something called the effect of removal, which tells you how much removing a card from the shoe actually affects the edge. And we're going to look at this from the point of view of somebody who wants to make a bet on the player side, all right, the player bet. So what we see here, and let me see if I can't just blow this up one more and not have it get out of frame there. What we see is that the ace, 2, and 3, and 4, if we remove them, that lessens the edge of the player side. So it actually favors the banker. So having an abundance of ace, 2, 3, and 4 in the shoe marginally pushes the edge towards the player side. The 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 go the other direction. Every time you take one of those out of the shoe, it marginally improves the edge for the player bet, decreasing the edge for the banker. And again, 10, Jack, Queen, King, if you take one of those out, then you'll see that that reduces the edge of the player, so increases the banker side. So effectively, an effective removal means where does it move the needle, right? If you remove that card from the shoe. So this person in particular, as I said, grouped ace, 2, and 3 together, grouped the 8s and 9s together, grouped the 6 and 7s and the 4s and 5s. And yes, the ace, 2, 3 kind of go together. He should have put 4 in that group. The more ace, 2, 3, 4 you have in the shoe, the teeny tiny bit better it is to be making a player bet as those cards come out. Teeny bit better for the banker side. And when I say a teeny bit better, I want you to look at those effective removals. You see how there's a decimal place followed by 4 zeros and then a number? So the house edge is, 1.24%, and you are changing the edge by roughly 0.004% if you remove an ace. So teeny tiny, right? It's like it's hopeless. It's absolutely hopeless. And I want to prove to you it's hopeless and give you the opportunity to sort of prove that to yourself by reminding you that I have a spreadsheet that you can use on my website, all right? So on my website, advancedadvantageplay.com, if you go there, you can download on the Downloads tab the Baccarat Risk Analyzer. And that's an Excel spreadsheet. It uses some macros. You'll have to enable macros to use this spreadsheet. But I spent a lot of time developing this. I based this spreadsheet on an actual commercial product that I created for a casino as one of my clients to analyze players they thought might be beating the house. Now, this is not proprietary. Essentially, I just took the experience I had and built a brand new, fresh spreadsheet from scratch. But you can use this spreadsheet if you think you have a system. And let me just kind of show you how that works here. So I have this spreadsheet opened, and first of all, you can just sort of experiment on your own with this spreadsheet, different shoe configurations to see whether that gives you an edge. So for example, let's just assume that we've been keeping track and a bunch of ace 2 3s. Every time I push one of these buttons, you see it's equivalent to having that card come out of the shoe, right? So we know if a bunch of ace 2 3s and 4s come out of the shoe, that should move the edge away from the player bet and towards the banker bet. So suppose that we have this really super freaky shoe where all these ace 2 3s and 4s came out. What we do is we keep track of that and we hit compute all. And you notice here, down in this left-hand corner, we have a bigger player edge. The house edge on the player bet is higher, right? Because I said to you that as you remove these cards, they're bad for the player bet. And the banker bet is moved towards 0, but it's still very negative. So it's just, you can fiddle around with this. If you think that you have a system that is getting an edge and you're thinking, gosh, what if I saw this happen? What would the edge be? You can actually work that out. Now, just to show you something here, I want to show you by comparison how big the edge is. For example, if we remove a 9. Now look at those numbers for player and banker, 1.235% and 1.058%. And compare that to the dragon bet, 7.611, all right? So focus on that number, and this number here, and let me remove a single 9. Ready? Notice that dragon bet moved from 7.611 to 7.133. It moved by almost 0.5%. That's huge. That thing moved by almost 0.5%, right? That's why we can beat the dragon bet, because this single card from an 8-deck shoe, you take that one card out from an 8-deck shoe, and you've already moved the edge by a full 0.5%. Meanwhile, look at these edges for the player and the banker. Remember that was 1.24, now it's 1.23. This number is essentially gone unchanged. So there you go. Now, there's another thing you can do with this sheet, and this is where I say that I developed this for casinos. I have actually provided you a risk analysis spreadsheet. So if you're somebody who tracks shoes and you think you've been card counting and you've identified an edge through your system, well, just keep track of those cards and come home and enter those things. And you can actually enter every card in the shoe into this thing as it came out, hand by hand. Put in your wagers. And this will tell you after you hit the compute button over here, the hand-by-hand risk macro, it will tell you exactly what the edge is on every single hand for the exact player edge, the banker edge, and the tie edge, right? And it will give you all sorts of other statistical numbers here that you can use to see what's happened during the shoe to these various edges. So this is actual risk analysis software that I created for the casino industry for free that you can use if you're a would-be card counter to prove to yourself that card counting your system is useless. It is completely useless. So I want to invite you, if you are a person who tracks cards, who thinks by tracking cards you're getting an edge, to please track those cards perfectly, then download this spreadsheet, and when you think you have an edge, actually check it out and see whether that edge is real or not. That's my advice to you. So I don't want to get into this a whole lot, but I've created these products for you, and they are free, so please come get them. Now, there's a couple more things I just want to go through with you. First of all, I have this website. I just pointed this out to you, right? I've written a couple of articles on card counting Baccarat. So if you go to the AP Heat tab here and you click on Baccarat and you look at these two articles right here, let me see if I can't make those larger for you so you can see Baccarat card counting flim flam, Baccarat card counting update 1, and actually Baccarat angst as well. But these two articles in particular, if you think you're a Baccarat card counter, please read these two articles. I hope that they will get that idea out of your mind. You are not beating the game by card counting. Absolutely 100% not beating the game by card counting. And I prove it to you right here. So I provided you analytical tools. I provided you articles. And I've actually, here it is. I'm telling you, you are not beating the game. Now, one of the other things, just to remind you, and this is very important to me, I have written this book, Advanced Advantage Play, that I was selling for $50 ever since 2015 when it first came out. I took it off the market for a couple of years. Then I put it back on. My publisher passed away. I put it back on as an independent book in early 2020. I just reduced the price of this book to essentially free as far as I'm concerned. I'm making no money on it whatsoever. Go to Amazon, grab a copy of this book. It is 490 pages. It's only $16.83. I have several chapters in there on Baccarat card counting. So if you don't like the web, if you want to actually just have a solid book to look, that's pennies compared to how much money you are losing by thinking you are a Baccarat card counter. So please get a copy of my book. And by the way, it's almost Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever. Buy a copy of this book for everyone you know who likes to play casino games of any sort, because I cover a whole heck of a lot of stuff in it, and I think it'd be worthwhile for everyone on your Christmas or Hanukkah or holiday shopping list to have a copy of this. So you will not find a better book for cheaper than this one, if in the casino gambling world. All right. So a little bit frantic in that talk, but I hope that that kind of gets through everything that you need to know in order to stop thinking that you're going to beat Baccarat by being a card counter. So, all right, everyone, this is Elliot Jacobson. See you later.